Muted.
Yeah, muted.
All right, which should be popping up then. What's up, guys? Can you see us?
Hey, what's up, guys?
It is literally like
What?
there. It should be a delay. Can you hear us? How's the sound? Can you get us a 5-5, please? Whatever that means.
We're live.
Oh, okay. That was on your phone. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry. I know this is sloppy right now. This is frozen on my end for some reason.
Oh, it's good on mine.
Hi, everybody. Hello. Hello.
Hi, guys.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Happy 5th of November.
All right. Sounds good, everybody. Okay. Sorry about that. Some tech issues. What's up? How's it going, Jenny? What's going on over there today?
Oh my God, it's great. You guys, what a time to be alive. Like, are you guys excited? Do you guys feel it? Are you feeling it? You feeling the vibes?
I am.
Yes.
You know, it's interesting.
Definitely.
It's interesting because it depending on your awareness of what's happening and is going to affect how this situation affects you. And I know somebody who's been pro-Trump this entire time, and now she is like actually hysterical, like crying. She really thinks, yeah, panicking. Really thinks that Biden's going to get in and like the whole world's going to end. So we have that going on at the same time, you know. Just because you're a Trump supporter doesn't necessarily mean you know what's going on.
My mom called me today and was all worried about it, and I was just reassuring her over and over. I'm like, it's gonna be okay. There's a plan here. It's all still going according to plan. But yeah, she was like, oh my God, what are they're cheating. Like, yeah, I know.
So what do
It's
you
obvious.
so just lay into it. What are you seeing?
So as far as that goes, and you know, the stress of not being certain of the outcome, but feeling the reality that there's this massive shift taking place, we're going to have to take turns. We're going to have to cycle back and forth a little bit about who's strong when other people are feeling weak. Like, this is really a time to depend on each other, to depend on our research. Nothing has changed. We knew this was going to happen. And so now this is the real test of our resolve. This is I don't want to use the word faith because I don't want that to evoke a religious connotation, and I also don't want to put all of our faith into the Q plan, because I still think that there is an element of this storyline here where humans and our action and decisions that have yet to be made, we're still there. We're not done with this yet. So if we keep this momentum and we take turns being strong, we're going to get through it. Joe Biden will never be sworn into office. It will not happen. Many will die before that happens. It will not happen. We averted that timeline. Okay, that is now has been cast out of any potential possible timelines henceforth. There are a few key decisions that have to be made, and that's going to look very different for different people. Okay, but it always is going to come down to a choice between this or that, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and what we see taking place is all this voter fraud. Honestly, I wasn't expecting to see this much of it surfacing. I've lost count of the videos. There's already like compilation videos being put together. It's insane. But not only, I was talking to a friend today, and not only do people have to be shown, but they need it like in a way, they need people to worry like this. They need this to be real. It needs to be real for everybody. That's the only way we're going to bite. That's the only way that this is going to make sense when they start arresting these people or whatever they do.
Absolutely. And it's it's the tale of two realities. There are people right now that have been so plugged into Mockingbird that they believe they're about to enter a reality where Joe Biden is legitimately the president. And that's what media, that's what Mockingbird will tell them. And here we are, rooted in actual reality, working with facts. And so the split is going to come in where, who are you and which reality are you aligned with? And it's going to be, here's the thing, consensus rules, and we've already won this. So it will be our reality. We have the bigger towing ability, if that makes sense. We're the holders of the light. We have all the knowledge. What we are fighting with, and the well from which we're drawing our energy from, is infinite. Our enemies, their source is finite, and it grows weaker and weaker by the day. So we are at that vanguard. We are on the brink, event horizon. This is when it's supposed to be hardest, you guys. We've done this before. We've been here before. We've done it. Okay. So I understand people freaking out. I had my moment last night. It was last night. I stepped outside. I needed a minute. I called a trusted person, and I had my 30 seconds of, it's all been a fucking trap. We're all gonna die. You know, that's it. Do you know what I mean? But very quickly, I could like step outside of myself and recognize the last grasping of my own shreds of self-doubt. And it wasn't a doubt of the plan, because that whatever happens externally is going to happen. I realized I was doubting myself. I was doubting my ability to perceive correctly. I was doubting my ability to make the right decisions for my family moving forward. And I realized this was a very personal sense of self-doubt and fear. And when I let that go and I remembered who the fuck I am, I was like, okay, I'm here. We are all here because we already won this. And I really do believe that we came back to help facilitate the bridge. So that's where I'm at with everything. I'm excited. I'm not happy. I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really easy to be happy. I mean, there's so much, like, this is actually exhausting. Like,
I'm at peace. I'll say that too.
You're always at peace.
Well, yeah. Thank you.
There's not much that rattles you.
Well, I just know what's happening. I just know, like, I have 100% faith that we're still on track here. We're on, like you said, we're on that positive timeline. I know that, like, I just know. So anything that happens is just a show. It's just how we get from here, move through this chaos, and then we get into the amazing times that we're headed towards. But when all this darkness that's surfacing and all this, the old world that's gonna have to crumble, it's gonna get chaotic and messy, because that's just the nature of that.
And who knew a Sharpie was gonna slow it all down?
Who knew a Sharpie would be a major part of this?
Can you believe that? Can you believe that? You know, I question the people who thinks that it's appropriate to be given a Sharpie. Who accepts that? I'd be like, excuse me.
Yeah, I'd be like, no.
No, like, we know how. Oh, come on. But it really doesn't matter. I want to reference. I told you guys about this pre-show, but I want everybody in the chat, everybody who's going to listen to this, look at a September 2018 executive order enacted by President Trump. And essentially what he did, our wonderful president 2 years ago, reserved the right, evoked this old law. It's been around forever, but it's never been used before, because this is the first administration that never really, now have use for it. And that law is to utilize armed federal agents to investigate election fraud or voter fraud, anything, even suspicions of it. And it's all in the fine print. Listen, my point is, they knew, the Trump administration and allied forces knew that this was going to happen. And so really, truly, with the exception of details that I'm sure you and I are not privy to at this time, everything is going according to plan generally. And so I want people to make reference to that 2018 executive order and look at the verbiage. look at how they word it. Suspicions of voter fraud, suspicions of any kind of tampering, specifically foreign interferences, okay? And so our president, stable genius, 45, best war, he's not only is he the best president ever, he is a wartime president. He is a wartime president, and this is just historic right now. But pretty much what is going to happen, I predict that what is going to happen, he's going to invoke this law and say, look here, guys, 2 years ago, this is what we're going to do. So we're now going to have armed federal agents, possibly even the military.
They already are. They already announced that the National Guard or whatever is going to come in and start counting the ballots, counting the votes.
And then what are they going to do? You know what I mean? And then what are they going to do? So, okay, we're all going to go to the Supreme Court. Guess who?
Exactly.
I mean, it's genius.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And it's funny because you're like, how do they not know? How do they not realize this is what's going to happen? But I'm sure some of them do, but they're just freaking out right now, desperately trying to.
They have to do something. You guys
have to do something.
You have to do something.
Exactly.
They can't lay down and die.
They're throwing Hail Marys right now is what they're doing.
Exactly.
They're just desperate. Like,
Cruciatus
maybe
curse.
this will work.
Exactly. They're what are all the death curses, the Cruciatus spell, all of it. They're just throwing it and they're sloppy. It's sloppy angst because if they lose, they go to prison or they die.
Yeah.
Like that's it. So, people are suspect right now and they're doubting, like, how could this happen? It's because they were going to follow their contingencies. They were going to follow their protocol till the bitter end because that's what you do. The show must go on. They never thought she would lose.
Yeah,
they really didn't.
I mean, they know. I thought they knew that this is over, but I think a part of them actually still believes that some of this stuff might actually work and they might have a chance. They're just blind right now.
Well, another part of it is the timeline thing. So what we were talking about before, they know we manifest the timeline that we go down. So they're thinking maybe we can still shift it back to our timeline, back to the negative,
Although
maybe if we can make people think Trump lost and Biden won, and then people will freak out and just accept that Biden won, and then we'll just manifest. They're trying to still manifest that timeline is actually.
For sure. I mean, that's okay. We can give them A for effort. Okay. I like to think of myself as having a strategic mind. I've always been fascinated by, warfare and game theory and strategy. For some reason, I just have always had a penchant for it. And I do have to commend them on their will to survive. Just, I commend you. It's been a great run. Good, okay, time to go. Time to go. I don't know how, I know the topic of today is supposed to be about the election fraud, but I did want to ask you guys your thoughts on the concept being thrown around of this flash. You guys know the flash.
Well,
Solar flash?
So
yeah.
I don't know if it's solar. I don't know if it's where it's emanating from. So I don't know its origin point.
So what's interesting about that is, a couple of years ago, we were hearing a bunch of chatter about this in 2018. It was supposed to happen in March. This was channelers were getting the information. Allison Coe was one talking about all this stuff. And it kind of went away. Nothing happened, whatever. Now, I'm seeing videos. I'm watching people who are tapping in, remote viewing this situation, or information coming through these QHHT sessions that have Trump winning, the timeline getting really, really chaotic and shaky, and then nobody can see past March. So, and then through Allison Coe's sessions, they're seeing some type of flash. And then other people they're seeing some event in March then I don't know if it's solar, but it's really interesting. And I don't put weight into that
Be
anymore.
careful. I was just going to say,
Yeah.
be careful, because now people are going to
No.
start saying, Tyler said it's going to happen in March. He's predicting it.
No,
That's what happened with Allison Coe.
don't
2
put
years
any
ago.
weight into that, because last
She
time
got so much shit.
nothing
from
did
that.
happen. And if we've learned anything from Q, don't go with those dates. You know, never put
Right.
any.
Never say
No.
a date or even a month, like, because here's the thing: we are on a positive timeline, but there's timelines within that, and time is not a set in stone thing. Things are it's always changing. So
Exactly.
even if that was a possibility, that doesn't mean it's definitely going to happen.
It's like when a whistleblower.
It means we're probably close. I would say
it's
that.
like when a whistleblower leaks intel. You know, I think just by the intel getting leaked, somehow it changes the timeline.
it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anything that happens changes.
What are your thoughts on it? Why are you asking?
Well, as soon as the observer observes the observable, it changes.
Yeah.
And it's just this like painful dynamic that occurs. It's like this symptom of being a 3D avatar, you know, this omnipotent being, and then you're like stuck here, and it's like, I can only see this, right? So it's kind of messed up, you know, but we cope with it, we deal with it. So this flash, I've dreamt about this thing. I've known that this thing was coming. I don't think that it's solar. I can't say that it's emanating from the sun. I think that this thing affects the sun, the moon, all of our celestial bodies. And I tend to see it as a band that just moves through the entire universe. Okay. And it is just this unstoppable, just band of light, sound, frequency, data. I'm not exactly sure, but it appears to have, I've been calling it a lead, L-E-A-D, or a nose. Okay. And what I mean by this, when I view it, this lead or this nose can be felt similar to the way you can feel heat from a fire when you're close to it. So you can't see it quite, you know, our eyes can't detect it, but our meta selves, our omnipotent aspects, are becoming excited, and we feel the incoming, the nose, the lead of this wave, and it's having different effects on people depending on who they are and where they're at, right? So I think it's coming. I don't know when. I have always felt like it was close. But then when we think about what time is, we're here like that. Like, so technically 40 years ago, it was close, because think about how big time really is. And then think about the span of 40 years, 10 years, 5 years, like we're right there at the edge of it. So if it's this year or early next year or late next year, think about what that really means, and how, you know what I mean? That increment of time is relatively so tiny.
Yeah.
Everything's
Exactly.
ramping up. I mean, we're seeing like all the signs. I mean, if you really are, people that are paying attention to the Schumann resonance, the Earth in general, like Mother Earth is speaking to us right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there are earthquakes.
Mhm.
Everything is unexplainable right now. It seems like this past year is like the first time this has happened in so many thousand years.
The UFO sightings are through the roof.
Yeah.
Way big, more than they've ever been.
Even with the moon, like these moons, the full moons and everything this year, it's like the first time since World War II we've had the blue moon the other night on Halloween. It's really interesting. All of these things are lining up. And the astrological aspect,
I was just going to go there. Yeah,
the astrological aspect is all pointing to right now anyway.
It is. Also, December 21st this year is like a huge date.
They're saying that is the real 2012.
They're saying that this year was the real 2012, and that December 21st this year is when something big is going to happen, or a big shift or something. It might be a big timeline shift on that day.
Well, yeah, that's kind of like what I was thinking. Like 2012 was huge for me and like everybody that I know. That was when we were like, you know, they were talking about the toilet paper and the batteries. And I don't know if you guys remember Drake. There was Drake and Cobra.
Oh yeah. Well, 2012 was the year of my awakening. That was the year of my awakening.
Yeah.
So I was following all those guys, and David Wilcock and David Icke and
everything. I mean, think about how far we've come and then just switch the numbers 2012. Like, just switch it. You know what I mean? Just switch it around a little bit. And it's like, oh, duh. That was like our dry run. That was like a dress rehearsal.
Well, that was the Mayan calendar, supposed Mayan calendar end date.
Right, for sure.
It's going to end on
So
December 21st.
exactly. And then what they say now, well, I don't know what to expect actually on the 21st. I have no idea. It's probably going to come and go, and we're just going to still be sitting here.
Yeah.
But I'm sure on some level, it is a big a big moment. And you don't think these elites know about this? I'm sure there's going to be rituals going on, taking place on that date. We don't know exactly. You know, there's a lot of what we're seeing going on right now, even with this election. There is black magic at play. Like, that's how they operate, and it's just really interesting. And I know you want to say something, so go ahead.
Well, momentarily before our show here, we got a note. Well, you guys got a notification of the Amber Alert. Okay. And we all know who is on the administrative panel of Amber Alert. I'm gonna get you guys banned off YouTube. I mean, are you guys?
Go for it.
Okay?
Please do. Yeah.
We've been trying.
I mean, all our friends are gone. Like, I kind of feel left out of the party.
I feel left out now.
We're gonna ride it out.
So, Laura Silsby Gaylor, okay, employee of the Clintons, got busted smuggling kids, 33 kids out of Haiti. Listen, pay attention. 33 Haitian kids. Nothing that they do is accidental. Everything is deliberate. That's just the language that these people speak. And so whenever we are given a notification of a national Amber Alert, pay attention to the age, race, description of the child that's been taken, and make note of the make, the model, and the color of the vehicle. These are all occult symbols. This is their way of broadcasting something that they have just done. So if you were to look at, like, the Satanic Calendar is one example. They do have a list of holidays and certain deities that they are supposed to make very specific offerings to. Okay, so sometimes it's a prepubescent female with white skin and light eyes, and other times it will be a 17-year-old male who's melanated, a brown or a black child. And all of these things are extremely deliberate, and they have their correlations in certain, celestial bodies and certain phases of the moon. Like, they do this strategically. And so the Amber Alert thing, think of the color amber. First of all, it's a signal. That means something. If a little girl, an 8-year-old girl with blue eyes and blonde hair, is taken in a black Dodge Journey, everything from the language to the numbers to the color, it's all ritual. And the broadcasting of it, where everybody knows about it, it gives them power. This is how they force us essentially to bear witness to their black magic, and that gives them power. So that's it. We're all forced to bear witness.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've actually, I've been forced to go down that rabbit hole lately, so I've been learning a lot about it. And you're right. Yeah, that's what they do. That's exactly what
sometimes we're forced down rabbit holes through necessity, and everything in its right time. And I'm glad that I'm here, because I don't really get fucked with. Nothing. I don't mean to like act hard or impervious, but like, I've been doing this for years. I don't get psychically attacked, spiritually attacked. That shit rolls so far off my shoulders so fucking quickly. So I'm just here to hold space for you guys. And if anything thinks that it's gonna come like bite you or fuck with you guys, like, they're wrong.
I'm gonna set up like an April Fool's prank and make you think you're getting an attack now, just for hell.
Me?
Yeah, no.
You.
Be careful. I have security set up. I have psychic security, so anything that comes kind of gets zapped. What's up, baby? I have a psychic electric fence.
Nice. Yeah. That's one
Nice.
you're not supposed, well, you just screwed up because the number one rule is you're not supposed to tell anybody.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows.
Oh, hey there.
How's it going? We have a guest. We have a mystery
We have a
guest.
mystery guest.
No, but let me be super clear. So it's certainly not secret that you're supposed to have some form of psychic defenses. But I'm going to tell you the trick to magic. I'm going to tell you the big secret to magic. It comes down to willpower. Will versus will. If you can stand up for yourself, if you can carry yourself clearly, deliberately, communicate either a boundary and or a command over another individual, and you can mean it, and you have the ability to say such a thing to their face, you are now more powerful than they are, magically speaking, because magic is little more than the combination of willpower, intention, and emotion, focused. So there is nothing to fear. If you think you could take somebody in a fight, chances are you could take them on the field of magic battle. And nobody fucking scares me. So nobody has any power over me. I don't allow it. I do not allow it, and neither should you. It's as simple as saying, no, the fuck you don't.
Yeah, and then we can watch Harry Potter to prep us, I guess.
Yeah.
A Patronus. Listen, there is a reason that the Patronus spell is the one that saves the day time and time again, because where the origin point of black magic is finite. It has a limit. It hits a wall. By definition, it is limiting, alienating, and it cuts things off. What the light does, it's infinite. It's a well that can continuously be drawn from, and it's something that roots us into earth. Mm-hmm. So if you're up against some black magic, all you have to do is they expose themselves. They're in the wrong. Therefore, they don't have the firepower that you do. Do you know what I mean? That's it.
No, absolutely.
And I'm learning that
the
too.
light is way, way stronger than the dark.
Listen, we're not gonna get too into it, but I am gonna say this because it's gonna come out eventually, and I know what I'm doing. The source of that attack, the source of these attacks, has never, not once, not for a split second, tried that shit with me. Not once, not ever, not for a second. So ask yourself why.
Yeah.
If you don't see yourself as susceptible or as vulnerable, you are not. You need only decide and declare that. Done. That's it.
And that's kind of what's happening right now. That's why to take this back to the topic of what we were trying to say.
Right, of course, election fraud.
But we don't have to stay there. But what I'm getting at is that's what we're seeing happen is people are just collectively stepping into their power right now. So their black magic collectively isn't working. But people don't even understand that that's
people are saying no more than ever. When they're when the media tries to tell you what's true and what's happening and what you should believe, celebrities, that used to have so much power over people don't give a shit anymore about celebrities for the most part. And you see what they try to do. They try to put these celebrities out there telling you what you should believe and how you should feel. And we're all just like, okay. Yeah, because people are taking their power back.
I keep interrupting you. I'm so sorry, Aaron.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You're the guest.
I had a dream last night, and I've woken up every morning at between the hours of 4 and 5 a.m. And I never do that. I usually sleep till 7. And I wake up and I'm just wired, and I'm like, okay, what's the plan? What's the damage? What are we doing? Type of thing. But last night I had a dream that there was it was an award ceremony, and it was a lot of the celebrities and, a lot of faces that you would recognize. And Chris Pratt, what a babe, right? Oh, I love him. I believe him. I mean, listen, as guys, right there, he's a real guy. He has not eaten babies. I feel like he hasn't. I just feel like he hasn't. And Chris Pratt in my dream, he like went to go like accept some award or say something, and he had a little envelope, and out of the envelope popped a little keck, a little green
No
keck.
way.
Yeah.
No way. That's awesome.
And I was so delighted. Like I just erupted, and like I was with a bunch of other women in the dream, and we just knew what that meant, and it was a total signal. And I took that personally as within some of the within the community, the entertainment industry,
Hey.
Hollywood. What?
I got somebody in the chat says, I actually use my brain. I'm not going to believe this hocus pocus BS. Do they let other people call in? I want to argue with her.
You
have
So
a
can
chat?
argue with me. I charge by the hour. So if you'd like to argue with me, you can PayPal me and go to my website and schedule a session.
Somebody
Cheers.
Oh, he's an anti-Trumper. He says,
Somebody-
all you Trumpers really going into conspiracy theories.
Somebody says Chris Pratt is total Illuminati. You don't get
Chris Pratt
A-list
is total
roles if you're
Illuminati.
not clean.
I'm on the fence. I don't know.
Well,
He could. He
I
may.
don't know. Well, listen, no, you guys just like wait a second, okay? Because look at people like who's the guy that made I mean, look at James Woods. Do you know what I mean? Like there are good people in Hollywood. And to be fair, Chris Pratt didn't really hit that level until relatively recently. A lot of the celebrities that like took that oath, they were like the 90s and the 2000s, like that was a really deep, dark time. Like that was really bad. Listen, I'm not here to defend Chris Pratt. I'm just trying to share with you guys my dream. Maybe he has done something. I don't know. But what I got from that was that maybe he's sorry. Maybe he's willing to fall on the sword. If I was a Hollywood celebrity and I had done something like that, but there was even a shred or a spark of good in me, I would absolutely sacrifice my life, my this, my that, to try to redeem my soul, because that's the only option they have.
You know, I just since we're going there, yeah, I think a lot of these people we have to remember they're hijacked at a young age. They're mind controlled, they're brainwashed, they are susceptible to who knows what type of mind control techniques, manipulation, everything. So this doesn't mean because they're involved in this stuff, that doesn't necessarily mean at one point at their core, that one part of them is still light. There's still a heart in there, there's still a soul.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are doing this stuff against their will. They have been put in situations, they've been blackmailed. So even the people that we think are Illuminati or might even be a part of the Illuminati may not even want to be. If they're not a clone at this point.
Yeah.
And I really believe that. I wanted to bring up, I had a session with this lady, and I didn't even know she was a medium until my mother and my grandmother came through, and she started giving me this message, and she had no idea that my mother and grandmother had passed. But this was right at the time that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. And during the session, while my mother and grandmother were there, she's like, "Who's Ruth? Who's Ruth?" And I'm like, "I don't know, Ruth Bader Ginsburg." Anyway, apparently she came through the session. You take this at face value. She came through the session and told the message was that she wanted us to know that she died in 1998 and she's been a clone since 1998, and she wanted to apologize. She wanted us to know that she didn't understand what they had her doing. She was so controlled. This is the message that came through this session for me. And she wanted us to know that she died in 98 and it's been a clone since then. Now, this guy in the chat.
It sounds crazy, but stranger things have been proven true. So it's possible.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I've been thinking about her a lot lately, because we know that she didn't just happen to die at that time, and then so seamlessly Amy gets sworn in. We know that she exited stage left a while ago, and I'll never forget Trump's reaction on the tarmac when he was like, "Ruth Bader Ginsburg just died. Do you have any thoughts?" He goes, You're telling me this right now for the first time. Like,
yeah. He's like, "Oh, you're just now telling me this."
Right. You're just now telling me this. She lived an amazing life. She's an amazing woman. It's like, oh, he's just so good. He's just so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a leader, right?
Yeah.
Seriously.
For this awakening.
What's
Yes.
it, you know,
He's the only guy. He's the guy. He's the guy for the job. I hope he's watching this. Donald Trump, I love you.
well, we had a comment on our last video. Somebody said, you know, say, let's, you know, it was another hater. They're like, okay, what happens when Biden gets elected? You guys won't even care about Trump anymore. And, you know, all this.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and I wanted to respond. I'm like, no, I'm not putting my energy
What
into
do
it.
you mean we won't care? Like
Yeah,
what?
Well, that's just
like,
somebody getting triggered, but it's interesting because I started thinking about it and I was like, no, I said, actually, he would probably have more support than unimaginable. He would have so much support from the collective if he didn't make it in. Like, it would be the exact opposite. It would be like every platform would shift to Trump. We, you know, it wouldn't be about any other type of disclosure.
And the catalyzation of that to further like make sure we're taking down this deep state would be unreal. I mean, it already is, but if Biden wins, you know, like,
well, he's not.
Which he's not. But if it did happen, like, and I know what's happening behind the scenes. I've done extensive research. I have heard inside sources. I know there's an alliance. I know they're in control right now.
Aaron's not lying. That's all he does.
It's real. I'm sorry if you don't want to believe it, but it is real. And what you're watching is a movie. You're watching a show play out, and things are going according to plan. That's all I can say. That's it.
Yeah. There's one thing about Aaron. If he has a flaw, it's that he's addicted to information. I've never seen somebody constantly doing research.
Everybody.
Yeah, well, I balance it with the spiritual. I don't just do, you know.
No, I know, but still, it's not a bad thing. It's good.
No, everybody's stepping into their role, and it'll just continue to pick up velocity. People will understand why they had to go through the things that they went through, because we're not done. There's still a lot of people that are going to wake up and suddenly. And so while we have been talking about the stories of our awakenings for years now, we have yet to hear the stories of people that are about to wake up at like kind of at the last minute. And that's going to be a good time for all of us, because we're going to be like, well, to the show, you know what I mean? Welcome to the party. Glad you made it. Better late than never. But Joe Biden will never be sworn in. Kamala Harris will never be sworn in. And in the off chance that she is, there absolutely will be a full-blown activation of the positive military and militia forces in this country. We will 1776 part 2 this bitch so fast, and everybody knows it. So, I mean, if the Trump it's card, not going to happen, but
the Trump card is a real thing. But I think that's like that is the last resort. If it comes down to it, Trump has the power to do everything you just said. But I don't believe it's going to play out in a way to where he has to do that. Like, that's kind of the idea of letting everybody see all this voter fraud right now. I mean, there's states where people have to be shown. More people there's more voters than people registered. There's more voters than the population in these areas. You know, they're letting people see it.
They're already finding the dead voters.
Yeah.
The dead people.
Has anybody seen the movie Black Sheep?
They're already finding the ballots thrown away, people burning ballots.
Have you seen the movie Black Sheep, Jenny, with Chris Farley?
I have not. No.
Oh, well, that movie is literally exactly about this election, or the 2016 election. It's about voter fraud, except in the movie, the lady who happens to represent Hillary Clinton. But it's the same thing. They were finding that all these dead people were being registered to vote, all the stuff, but then they end up getting caught. It's like it's foreshadowing to this exact moment right now.
I mean,
we got another anti-Trump in the chat.
It's fine. Well, I was going to say you should boot this idiot.
I love how these people pop up only when we talk about this stuff and they start showing.
It's so funny because like they're usually they're only paid to do this. So you have to be either a person in a really tight spot, like financially, to take money to do this kind of work, or you're a pedo and you're literally fighting for the survival of your lifestyle. and your reputation. I'm convinced that at this point, those are the people that want Trump to lose. Like, honestly, that's where it is for me right now. Oh, you don't want to support the man and his team, the only team in recorded history that is fighting child trafficking.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
now, okay, so now then you're on the side of child trafficking. So
Yeah,
now
so
you're
that
my
means
enemy.
you're
We're-
supporting.
We're getting a chat loaded with people saying no evidence, no
no
proof.
evidence, no proof. Who are these? I've
It's
never
cool.
seen these people in any chat either.
It's all right, but
Well, no, like, you guys, it's perfect. It's
let's
good.
address it. Yeah, let's address it.
Yeah.
I eat it. I'm eating it.
Hey,
So-
they haven't seen the proof or the evidence, so that means it doesn't exist.
Naomi,
Nom, nom, nom,
you
nom.
realize the
That's how it
exact
works.
opposite is happening right now. The evidence is overwhelming. That's why they haven't made a decision yet.
Yeah, do you really think they wouldn't have called it for Biden? They would. You think they really would not have already called it for Biden if he won? You really think that?
Okay.
You really,
They're
really think
stupid.
how
Oh my
stupid?
God, they're so dumb. Like, they're not even the way that I've been seeing it. You guys have all seen Harry Potter. Do you remember the scene? It's the Tri-Wizard tournament, and it's round 2. It's the second challenge. The first one was dragons, and the second one was the Black River, the Black Lake, right?
Mhm.
And they need to find out like what to do. So they're all given this egg. And what? Oh,
No, I'm just telling him something. Keep talking.
What are you
Okay.
doing?
So there's this egg in Harry Potter, and the only way that you can hear what these sirens are saying, these mermaids or these sirens, is if you're underwater. Okay. So it's kind of like, unless you're on the right frequency, unless you're submerged, or unless you are on that level, you can't hear what's happening. Everybody else is above water, and to them it's just screeching. To them it's just noise, right? Unless you submerge the egg and you go into that world and you really listen, then you can't hear it. It's speaking another language. So that's where we're at right now. They hear screeching, we hear the message.
Mhm.
Leave it to the space.
nailed
witch.
it. You
Leave it to
nailed
the
it.
space witch to bring us back to the Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm a good witch. I'm a good witch.
No,
There's
I know.
only white witches, only good witches, white magic only. We're going to be talking a lot more about what magic is, and it's not this this strange, taboo thing. This is everybody's birthright.
This
Do you
is
know what I mean?
this is the world has been operating under a spell for decades, for eons now. It's magic is what controls this planet.
We need good witches and warlocks to unite together and create a plasmic language. Okay, the plasma that we each naturally inherently possess, we're born with it. Okay, it is our auric field, it is our life energy, and it operates in such a way that we're communicating with everything and everybody else through this plasmic web, and it speaks a language. Okay, we forgot how to command that. We forgot how to truly communicate. We went from fluently communicating and existing with this plasmic language amongst ourselves and in a symbiotic relationship with the earth and the celestial bodies. We went from that to speaking Latin root languages, English. Like, English is nothing. Our words, our language, our sentences are they're nothing. They're nothing. It frustrates me all the time because my vocabulary is like this, but my brain is like, I have a billion thoughts and emotions.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Trust me, I can absolutely relate to that.
Well, I mean, you say it's nothing, but like, what do you mean when you say our language is nothing? Like, just because we don't have the words to explain what's actually happening? Is that what you mean?
That and the tones, the tongue, the way that English in particular, French, Italian, German, Spanish, these Latin the romance languages, they are not understood by the etheric realms. So when we talk, we're not being heard by the ethers. We were locked out of the ethers. And so the only people that knew those languages, the plasmic languages, all those people were killed, destroyed by the Crusaders, the Roman Catholic Church, everybody. They were all taken out. All these indigenous tribes and their cultures, like all of that stuff that was shared amongst people was taken. And so English is pretty much just useless because we think we're praying, and it's your intention. It's your intention.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to question the language itself. There's people that say the letter S was given to us by a reptilian or a Draco race because it sounds like we're hissing when we use the letter S. It's like a hissing sound. And then obviously spelling is called spelling because it's literally casting spells. So there's there's that aspect of it also. And it's just really interesting. And I understand what you're saying, like part of it's just like our visible spectrum. It's like we can only see so much. It's the same with the language.
Exactly. And there does exist within cellular. Sorry, guys.
Right.
That's
no, it's fine. It's the it's, I don't know. It's like I can hear like Wi-Fi. So sometimes when it like hits or like goes up in bars, I can feel it go up and down. But our ability to command and work in alliance with the fundamental building blocks of all of matter, earth, water, air, fire, ether. English, Italian, French, German, these languages, they fall short. So what a lot of people have, and why things like spells, practical spells by the average person do work sometimes in some instances, is because they're using their emotion. And sometimes that's half the battle. And as humans that have been, our current race, the surface population, has been subject to so much oppression that, to be fair with us, we will be allowed to use, for now, just the intention. That will be enough. And next, amongst the population, people will remember how to express these plasmic languages and teach them. Okay, and so I personally believe that God and the divine is working through individual people. I think that's how God works. God works through us. And so that in the sense that, Tesla felt that he himself was a conductor of this universal energy, a receiver rather, that's what's going to continue to happen in the surface population. We are suddenly going to be made aware and remember all of these plasmic languages, and it is recorded on the face of our waters. We have a lot of liquid, we have a lot of water. All of the water in the body records all of our cellular memory from all of our incarnations and lifetimes and star systems and here and there and that. And to view that information is kind of like to look upon the waters, watch the waters and look at that reflection and read them and express them through plasmic language. So I think that's what's next for us. So it's exciting.
Yeah. So, and if anybody just tuning in is trying to figure out what we're going on, because this is supposed to be about election fraud, we've gotten past the election. Now we're talking about
I guess, well, because here's the thing, I'm not worried about, like, okay, it's messy, but there is no way that Joe Biden got more votes than Obama did. This is so blatant, and there's so much evidence that they've exposed themselves. And at this point, it's just going to be a tedious process to have to drag them by their toenails through the process, through the system.
You said watch the water. What are your thoughts on that watermark?
Watch the water.
Watch the watermark.
Have you seen the watermark? The watermark thing that apparently
Yeah.
has to be viewed with night vision goggles.
Absolutely. We absolutely have the ability to detect a legitimate ballot from a fraudulent one by detecting this watermark. So it's being said that watch the water was in reference to that, future proofs past and all that. It's very possible. I don't know. To me, it fits. And I'm hopeful, but I don't know exactly.
Well,
It's a
and
wonderful theory.
what's the Q drop that refers to the harvest?
Corn
The
and the
corn,
harvest.
the corn and the harvest. Well, the ink that's used in these watermarks is apparently made from
corn-based ink.
It's a corn
Yeah.
oil. So it's like
Oh,
really,
I've heard that too.
yeah. So it's really interesting. I mean, if they're really getting that that deep with this stuff, we know there's like the looking glass technology and all that stuff. It's what is the Q team? What kind of technological level are they operating from? What type of magic are they using? What type of, time travel, whatever it is, and time travel is not even time travel. Once you understand time, that's what makes it so hard for people to comprehend, because we see everything linear, and time
Right.
travel seems impossible that way. But once you understand what time actually is, it's actually really not that hard. I mean, I can't do it, but in theory, it's not that hard.
It's really not. Time is a very flimsy construct. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's just like this. You can fold it, you can loop it backwards, you can stop it, you can, Tesla spoke about the arrow of time. Okay, he spoke about the arrow of time, which is what happens when the space-time continuum is
Space-time.
the space-time continuum is essentially, under the domain of these celestial bodies, such as Saturn, the Time Lord. There are certain conditions present that lock us into linear time, and yet this is just one experience. And so we are omnipotent. This is why time travel works. This is why. This is how I know that we win, because I think if we lost on this timeline, I wouldn't be this excited, because I have felt, in my personal life, I have felt really bad things coming my way, and I've always been right. And it's that sinking feeling when like it's just, this is some karmic thing I have to go through, and here we go, and you brace. But everything in my body, my bones, my blood, my guides, everything tells me that while this is going to be difficult, this is exactly what we have trained for. This is why we incarnated here, and we are as ready as we will ever be. And therefore, we move forward, bravely, deliberately, clearly, come what may, because what other choice do we have? We're here. It's showtime. Green light. Let's go. Let's get it.
Yeah, and
Well said.
Absolutely,
Beautiful.
it is well said, and I believe that like this is like we are finding our strengths right now. Like we are being tested, not just like in the world, but even in our personal lives. There's a lot of things coming up that we're being faced to deal with. So it's like training for what is to come. Right now what we're seeing play out with this election and everything is the coming attractions for who knows what the hell is around the corner, right? And if we're not being forced to deal with all this stuff, and like you said, we're here for this time. We incarnated because we know we're ready. But on some level, we have to understand that we're ready. So we're being put through these tests, and we have to be challenged, and we have to be able to get through these hard times and then look back and be like, oh, wow, that actually wasn't as bad as I made it seem at the time. And
so much growth happens through this kind of stuff. That's really the reason why it's happening. And so we can grow and step into our power and become our true selves, grow into our true selves.
I agree. We have to manifest. It's something that everybody does on a personal level in their relationships. They manifest for themselves the sky falling. They have to. And it's only then that the ego mind, the soul, whatever combination of all those things, either rises to the occasion or doesn't. And that I think that's just where we're at. We better listen. There's still people that feel that even under a second term under Trump, that we are going to be subject to vaccine mandates. And I can't even believe that people are so stupid to at this point believe that a fight of this proportion would be going on if we were just going to get forced vaxxed anyways. He truly,
what would be the point?
one or exactly what would be the
What
point?
would be the point
It's
of all
one or the other at this point. It is one or the other. So that, that's where we're at. The election fraud is legit. This is blatant. We're dealing with people, like I said, who, if they lose, they go to prison. So it's kind of like if you've ever, backed somebody, well, you'll see, we'll all see. But when you back a really guilty person into a corner and they realize that, oh shit, the jig is up, watch what they do. Watch what happens. This is so exciting. Like this is just.
It's already happening. Yeah, it's already happening. We're seeing signs of it. Exactly. So like you said, though, what was I going to say? Damn it. Save me, Aaron.
Does that have to save you again?
Yeah. What the hell was I was going to
so
add?
yeah, the fraud,
the
the fraud that's happening it's obvious.
That's
they're
what,
freaking out right now.
What did they say? Like 9.7 million votes are missing
in California. Apparently, that's like, dude, that's like an unreal number. That's like,
how do you even?
That's like more people live in our state. Yeah. We live in Missouri. That's more people.
But there are so many people that are listening to Mockingbird and believe this version of events. And so it may, at this point, it's a matter of leaving them to figure it out, being of assistance where and when we can. But for the most part, we as awakened individuals, ready individuals, we need to start focusing on constructing the new. We need to start creating more practical applications of these technologies that we've been waiting for. I'm sick of waiting for the release of technologies. I'm done waiting for the release of the med beds, Tesla technology, disclosure, done. I'm not waiting anymore. I know exactly what's going to happen. That information is going to come through individual and groups of people, and those ideas will be revised, sophisticated, refined, and expressed through people's hands, thoughts, words, art, all of it. It's going to be made new. So,
I was gonna say, what's interesting about all that you just said, and I agree 100%. But so with this new technology coming out, now we have information, people coming forward saying, don't use the med beds. There's like harmful radiation in there and it's a trap. It's funny. I know, but it's funny what we're going to have to deal with when this stuff does come out. They are going to try and make it seem dangerous, and then people aren't going to want to use it. And then they're going to go with the trusty vaccine or whatever that they've been programmed to believe in.
You know what? There really is a split happening. Yeah, I feel, because you still see so many people stuck in fear and stuck in blindly believing whatever the mainstream tells them. And that's not going to change, like even if Trump wins. So, and all this technology starts coming out, like he said, they're going to start believing the lies about it. And they're going to believe the lies about ETs if they start revealing themselves. So I really am seeing this massive split of, not even a timeline split. It's of the people on the planet where all of these people are going to stay stuck in fear, and all these people are going to be experiencing all this amazing stuff and the freedom. Yeah. And there might be for a while something like different areas of the planet that are free, and different ones that are not, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe not.
And by the way, maybe just anybody you're talking about the vaccines and the 5G and all that stuff, and that's one hang up people have with Trump, because he kind of promotes it in a way, but that's optics, I think. I think that's optics. He can't go full anti-vaccine, anti-5G, especially before the election. Besides, we don't actually know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know if these 5G towers can double as a free energy tower. And obviously, if you know anything about the human body, any foreign object is not compatible with our body. Mother Earth provides everything we need. So the vaccine, maybe you can try and convince somebody or talk them into it, but really when you go through the awakening, you start understanding, you understand that nothing is supposed to be going into your body.
Exactly. And I was going to say that the 5G, the shortwave 5G technology. Sorry, guys. It's just.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm hungry now too.
I had an edible. It was just a little edible here. Sour Patch Kid. So the 5G telecommunications equipment that is the culprit of a lot of the malevolent symptoms reported by people nationwide, Wuhan, China, all of these places, northern Italy. The 5G was weaponized by foreign telecommunications manufacturers. At the beginning of this year, President Trump, and I feel like I've talked about this with you guys before, President Trump enacted an executive order that, with the jaws of God himself, guarded the American electronic infrastructure and also provided funding to deconstruct any foreign-made telecommunications equipment, also known as sniffing gear, that was already constructed here. He said, take it down, here's the money for it, send it the fuck back, we don't want it, and it is banned. Any foreign-made 5G telecommunications equipment is not prohibited in this country, American-made only. Now, just because 5G has successfully been weaponized by our enemies, including the deep state, that does not mean that 5G in and of itself is not somehow going to be incorporated. I actually have felt, when I tried to view this, because 5G scared the crap out of me. Like a couple of years ago, like 2-3 years ago, my biggest thing was fear of the 5G, because I don't like the idea of
A lot of people are afraid of it still.
It's just very scary. So here's what I want to tell you. It turns out that 5G is not effective. It doesn't work that well. They need to construct millions and millions of these things nationwide in order for it to work. And even then, it's sketchy. I believe that before that kind of a plan is rolled out, that we will come to the understanding collectively and in those circles in the telecommunications industry, we'll come to different conclusions about 5G and its practical applications, and if it's even useful, if there isn't something else that they design come into.
There is something else that's already been around, but I keep going if you want to finish your thought.
Well, I did want to say, because I don't know if your audience knows this, but I'm a professional tarot reader. Okay, this is what I do. I read cards. I do readings for people. I have a website. This is my joy. It's my passion. It's what I'm good at. It's what I'm in part what I'm here to do as a human. And I'm so blessed and honored to be able to have all of these clients from all of these walks of life, including people employed by telecommunications companies. And so they know what 5G is. And and they know what it is. They know its capabilities, its dangers, and its potential practical applications. Okay. And when I tell you that in the telecommunications industry, tons and tons of people know what's going on, and they have so many ideas about what else to do and what to do differently, that it is only a matter of time before these ideas come into themselves and are properly communicated and expressed within people, and new things come out. People have to learn how divine command works through the human being, through the human system, and how it is then expressed and accepted in a conducive environment. And our job is to create a climate, an environment here, a psychological terrain, if you will, that is accepting and conducive to the application of these new ideas that are just coming through the collective now, because its time has come. The time has come. So 5G doesn't scare me nearly as much as it used to. And this executive order was cut and dry. If you put up telecommunications equipment in this country that's from China or France or anywhere else, you have to take it down or suffer the consequences. And these are all enforced. Listen, President Trump doesn't say anything and then not back it up. That is not what that man does. He doesn't forget a thing. He doesn't miss a beat. So I'm excited as hell.
Well, like you said too, like it doesn't actually,
too.
it's not that effective. If anybody has a 5G active phone, it's like you're not noticing a difference. I'm sorry, like you just kind of been duped. And but so what I do know, and I did a little research on this in the past, is the original car phone that came out. It had the cord. It had the cord, the big box car phone. You know what
I
I'm
remember
talking
that.
about?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember those.
It had the accordion cord, and they plugged into your cigarette lighter. Um, Apparently, the military, that same technology that was in those phones, is still being used today by the military. They kind of released the best first and realized they weren't going to make any money off of it. But whatever is in those cell phones, those big box phones, is still being used by the military today. And you don't need any cell phone towers. It's a satellite. It's strong enough. You're going to get signal anywhere. That's why they use it, because they get signal in the desert, in a cave. It doesn't matter where they are. And these original box phones had that technology in them. And it's funny.
Which is hilarious.
Even if you were
Yeah.
to buy one today, you can't activate it. It's actually illegal. You can't activate them.
Really?
Yeah. You can buy it, but it's totally useless to you.
Huh. Interesting. You've given me something to chew on. There's this thing, this phenomenon that they have observed. Who is they? Students at several universities. I don't know. It's this phenomenon that they call Teslaphoresis or Teslaphoresis. Talked about it before. I'm fascinated by this idea. Google it, or DuckDuckGo it rather. Don't Google a damn thing. DuckDuckGo this phenomenon called Teslaphoresis, and what it is. In the presence of a coil, okay, one of these the Tesla device, they recreated it. You know, as soon as it switched on, these nano tubes, they're carbon atoms essentially that just exist everywhere since everything is carbon. But these tubes self-assemble immediately as soon as this thing is switched on. And they notice that it forms a bridge, an unbreakable bridge from underneath the ground to the top that just goes all the way up. So these highways of carbon nanotubes just self-assemble. And what that does is it sort of highlights this naturally occurring grid that kind of like needs our it's not that it needs our observation to exist, but it needs us to acknowledge that it is there, and in order to use it. And what this makes me think of is it's the original Ethernet. This grid connects all of us. And if we were to utilize, the essence of things like gold and silver, which within those metals have the deep atomic resonance of the sun and the moon. The solar is the gold, the lunar is the silver. Think about how those celestial bodies seed our environment all day. The sun with the gold all day long, the moon with the silver all night. These particles, these essences exist naturally in the environment, in the air. And so with the presence of these tubes, this phenomenon, I see this as a more functional internet, something that we could then, we would then understand truly our quantum entanglement on a very like carbon-based level. Like, you guys, look, there's strings everywhere. There's strings everywhere, all over the fucking place. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Exactly. Yeah. It sounds like you put a lot of thought into this.
I do. You guys, like, I this is like all I think about is how to save the world. I don't know how else to put it. But
That's amazing.
So do you want to would you be interested in pulling a card on like
absolutely. This is my favorite thing to do. Yeah, totally. So do you guys have like an intention? Do you want to, how about like the elections?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Just kind of like the current times or what's to come or whatever. And then
okay, so let's take a look here.
Thank you, Vision in Christ, for the donation. 777. Loving all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Why did that didn't pop up on my screen?
I have no idea.
That's so weird.
Okay,
Did your chat
so
come up?
let's do
Yeah,
an
did
out.
your chat?
Election outcome.
Okay.
Perfect.
Even though I think we
Perfect.
already
I
established
think we already
that.
know, but
Yeah.
So, okay, so we have the Four of Swords. Okay, beautiful card, beautiful card. Traditionally, this is a card of pacts, agreements, understandings, and rest after battle. Okay, so let me be very clear. The question was, what is the result of the election? We will come to a resolution. There will be a decision made. This says truce. You can't see it, but it says truce. Fours as a number, you know, we're doing a little bit of numerology here. This is about stability. This is about the reset, the very basic structure, either of a country, a governing body, or of a home. We're talking about the bare bones of a system. Okay, the four walls that keep it together. We're talking about the fundamental composition of the new system, of the new world. Okay, so we're kind of just getting started. Then we have the Eight of Pentacles. Listen, this is work. This is rolling up our sleeves. Okay, do you see that this is a tree?
Mhm.
All right, and all of the trees birth all these pentacles, the tree that bears fruit. Okay, all of our efforts, all of this training, all of this work, all of the grassroots effort that real human beings have put into this fight, all of that pays off. This is really good, just so you know. Like, this is really good. I think that this is because this is traditionally a card of the work and workers. And I just see this as the everyday average person deciding that they're going to make this resolution their business. They're officially going to take this and say, this is now my responsibility. Not everybody, okay? Not everybody, clearly. 6% lost forever. Isn't that how they go? Isn't that what they say?
4 to 6%.
Yeah.
4 to 6% lost forever. I mean, listen, we tried, okay? We tried really damn hard. So did you guys have any questions, like any other questions specifically?
Well, does anybody in the chat have a question for her? And somebody did wonder if you could pull a card on Trump's future. Is that something you can do?
Sure. Wow. Okay, let's take a look at that. I haven't gotten that one before, so let's take a look. What is Donald Trump's future? President Donald Trump, what is his future? His short-term future. What is Donald Trump? President Donald Trump's short-term future. President 45. The Hermit. Okay, so we have the Hermit, the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so the Hermit is Virgo energy, and the Queen of Pentacles is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy. Okay, so I want to make note of the fact that Donald Trump is an extremely private person. People think that the man that they see, the Donald, the archetype that is the Don, is somehow who this guy actually is behind closed doors. It couldn't be further from who he truly is. So yes, he is a big energy, and yes, he is an extrovert, but he is monk-like with his discipline and also with his focus. Okay, that's what this is. You notice, like, some of the symbolism here, we have the three-headed dog, has a lot to do with how we guard who we truly are. Okay, the three-headed dog that stands at the gate, that stands at the door and makes sure nothing can get in. Okay, he will guard his spiritual light and his privacy, who he truly is. All of that will remain sacred. This is safety too. Okay, he's safe. Queen of Pentacles is a very nurturing energy, longevity. I mean, honestly, I see him happy at home with Melania and with his things. This is safety to me, absolute safety. So I like that. Thank goodness.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he deserves it.
Yeah, he
Shit,
does.
after what he's
been through.
we can't even
This-
begin to comprehend what it must be like to be him and be under fire for 4 years straight, constantly getting attacked by the press. I don't know how he hasn't rage quit off stage
Yeah.
sometimes from some of those questions from the press.
Because he is extreme. He is the art of war. Okay, General Sun Tzu. This man, President Trump, is no rookie. He is an expert at this. He knows exactly what he's doing. Appear weak when you are strong. Appear strong when you are weak. I even, I look at him and I see someone that knows exactly what he is doing. He is 10 steps ahead of everybody. Just all the time. I did want to address something. Somebody here mentioned, can I explain the difference between a white witch and a black witch? Straight up, it's intention. I have the potential to be a black witch as much as, you know, someone as I have the opportunity or the potential to be a white one. It's about my intention. There are some lines I have never, will never cross because my moral compass simply doesn't allow it. So your magic is going to be an indicator. Your results of your magic are an indicator of who and what you are, what kind of a magician you are. And so for me, I have beauty in my life. I'm a healthy person. You know, I'm surrounded by beauty and abundance and good things because that is the magic that I do. I surround myself with that. And you'll know them by their fruits. You know, these black magicians and these horrible deep state occultists, this terrible high magic by the, you know, they're even the ones that appear to be beautiful and young. If you look really closely, there's no light. You know, there's no light. Their families are not happy. Their children aren't usually have all kinds of addictions and problems. And you'll know them by truly what their fruit is. And it's intention. Listen, don't cast spells when you're angry. Don't cast spells when you're in the throes of sadness and depression. Sometimes those things happen accidentally. We say things and you don't realize you're putting stuff out there, but even that stuff it's forgivable because you're human, okay? The real black magic comes in when you cross these lines that are not meant to be crossed, such as taking the innocence of a child, okay? Such as harming a defenseless creature, okay? Innocence. Any attack on innocence is an attack on God, and therefore you cannot call yourself a white witch or a white warlock. You're now on their side, the dark force.
Yeah, that was a great explanation of that.
And violating people's free will also is a big one.
I mean, listen, it could be sad that since nobody's perfect, we've all lied, manipulated, you know, we've done things we're not proud of, that we're human, okay? We're human. The real problem comes in when you start calling down or calling forth and evoking powers of dark, malevolent fields and making agreements or making pacts or offerings with these dark, malevolent fields in exchange for them to do your bidding. That's a problem. And you can only dabble with that so long. These people think that they are commanding these spirits to do their dark bidding. They are just pawns. Yeah. There's a little fraction of time they enjoy this power and this luxury and fame and freedom because, oh, I hacked the matrix. I drank the blood. I killed the baby and now I have all of this. Your time is like this, honey, like this. You've got no time.
It's already up for most of them.
What's that? It's up.
It's already up for most of them.
The karma you accumulate from that too is like insane.
How many people
they don't understand that?
How many people
they really don't?
How many people do you think are in Gitmo? I think it's packed. I think some of these politicians we see are straight up clones at this point.
I don't know how many. I don't know.
Well, the reason I even say that is because you said their time is up. I think a lot of them, their time has already been up, and
I think a lot of them, even if they're not clones, I think they are acting out a play right now. I think they're doing.
So I was just going to say we have a donation.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you.
And he has a question for you. So will we contact ET Life in the next years?
Yes, come on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Come on. I mean, that's sweet.
100%.
ETs are already running the plane.
They're already here.
Within the next 20 years, I would say for sure.
No, sooner than that.
Sooner than that, but like I mean,
Well, here's the thing: if we're all on this spiritual awakening, like you said, you were referring to, is like, you know, God is communicating and connecting through the
Through
individual.
us.
Well,
mhm.
that's what's happening with ET contact as well.
Yeah.
Like, I personally am an experiencer.
But as far as being out in the open is what
Yeah.
more people are talking about there.
But that's what we're gonna get anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I'm personally am an experiencer.
But that's
and
the real
how-
contact anyway.
That's how.
That's yeah. It's going to be on an individual level.
Yeah.
At first, I mean, until we're on a planet that's not.
Here's a good question,
deep
and then
state
we could
controlled.
start wrapping this up if you want. Could President Trump be a walk-in?
So yeah, so this is what I want to say. So for the nice man that made the donation, I did pull a card for your question. I thought that was only fair, even though it was a resounding yes, and they're already here. They're working through us, amongst us. They're allied with us, and they also, some of them happen to be our sworn enemies. Okay. They're a lot like people. They're just like people. With any race, you have good ETs that rally to protect humans, and they see us as wonderful creatures that need help and assistance, and they love us and they want to cuddle us like puppies. They think we're cute. Okay. And then you have others that hate us. They're scared of us. They're jealous. They want to hurt us. They have others that want to toy with us and torture us. And
Eat us.
you have the spectrum, because aliens are people. It's not a one size fits all. The only one size fits all race that I know of are the Greys, because they're a hive. And so they're they don't really have individual thought. They run off of a computer. They're more like thoughts than anything else,
The
right?
PLFs, the program life forms. Yeah.
Exactly. They're not, that's different. But the races that we're going to be dealing with, the ones that we're going to be discussing and interacting with more, a lot of our allies, we're going to see the spectrum of their personalities and how they have been working with a lot of us right here, right next to us. So this is the card that I pulled for your question. We have the Emperor. Okay. This is Aries energy. And honestly, to me, this represents the person, the liaison, the intermediary that kind of steps forward first with an air of sovereignty and authority. And here's what it is. Even though you know and I know that ETs are here, people are still people, and we operate as kind of like we love instruction. Okay, we love format, we love structure. So there will be a formal, okay, because the Emperor is formalities and structure, authoritative figures and things like that. There will be a very formal disclosure, if you will, brought to us by somebody that the collective loves and respects. Okay, and it will be in a very very official type of setting. Okay, and that will come after a certain threshold is met on the planet in terms of people that are like, I mean, 50%, most people I know believe in aliens. I don't think I know anybody that doesn't believe in aliens, as if, I don't know. It's just weird terminology at this point, but.
I agree. And we just got another donation from Ryan Neal.
Thank you, Ryan.
So I want to, before we get to your question, Ryan, I want to address, because I really think it's an interesting question. Could Trump be a walk-in?
Totally. So earlier, I do have a video out there. By the way, guys, I do have my own channel. I also have a website. So my channel is Jenny Constantine on YouTube. It's just my name. My website is jennymoonstone.com. But I do have a video where I theorize that Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, the human being that we see, is the physical counterpart of a hyperdimensional machine that's operating outside of space-time. And he, him and the mechanics around him, the people, the structures, the plan, all of that is essentially a mechanism, okay? And it's moving, oscillating through our reality here, affecting all of these, creating all of these effects. It's like a mass effect. That's what this is. It's a catalyst machine. Now, earlier today, I made this whole post about how I'm coming out and telling people, and I really believe this, and I realize how it makes me sound, but I don't care, because I was given the green light by my guides that it is officially time to start talking about this stuff and owning it. And I believe that the Jenny that you guys are talking to, the Jenny that's here now, I believe that I'm from the future. And I'm not saying that my body was put into a machine, thrown back into 2020, and here I am sitting with you, and hi guys, the future, I was there a minute ago. Not like that. But when we start to understand time and the effects of linear time on the fractal that is this human, this consciousness, when you really just accept that and stop resisting the reality that you are omnipotent, you can choose a version of yourself, okay? A future version of yourself, your best self in your best world. You can choose that, okay? And through whatever means you like, whether it be meditation, visualization, even some people just believe it, they just snap into it. I believe that currently my avatar, the controls of my avatar are at the helm of that is a future version of Jenny, the Jenny that you see now, 5 to 7 years from the future, after we've gotten through this mess. I think I'm now she is at the helm of Jenny right now to help facilitate, bridge, and conduct what happens now to help pull everybody else through. And I'm not alone. I really think that there are millions. Yeah.
Sounds like you've been hanging out with Austin Steinbart.
Ew!
Oh no, don't bring him into this.
I am joking.
No, please.
I'm joking.
No, he doesn't. Okay, yeah. Ew, as soon as you said that, I was like, gross. No. I might have watched one of his videos for about 10 seconds before I realized this guy was a violent, psychotic spook.
Same thing.
Violent, psychotic cop boy. And I was like, just get rid of him. Just ew.
Well, yeah, I mean, the one I guess gift that I have is I get when something's off like that, I get an actual physical pain in my gut, like something's really off. And so when I watch his videos, it actually makes me sick to my stomach.
I can't watch him. Yeah.
Somebody,
totally.
Ryan, or whoever donated, Ryan, he wants to know about when will Bitcoin moon? Do you have any thoughts on Bitcoin at all?
Probably.
Oh, Ryan, you can just wait till our session.
You know him?
I know, Ryan. All right, let's pull a card for Bitcoin. I hate cryptocurrency, but let's do it. Let's play.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm not into it either, but
I don't think it has a place in the timeline we're looking for.
I know.
Look, the devil. Okay, listen. I like this. Okay, so I want you guys to really look at this card. Tell me how phallic is that? I mean.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that is.
Wow.
Yep.
Yep, there it is. So this is your cryptocurrency card. Believe it or not. Okay, so this is what I actually feel guided to tell you guys. Like, apparently the blockchain system, the blockchain technology is going to prove itself to be instrumental in the evidence and the criminalization, like the implication of their paper trail, their money trail, everything that they messed up with in this election, all the fraud. Blockchain recorded all of it. Okay. So and the devil, traditionally, this is the trap. This is the trap. This is the vice. This is, the system, the habitual system necessary for things to keep moving, the systems, machines set in place. So, I mean, it probably has its uses. I personally can't stand cryptocurrency. It bums me out.
Yeah, I think it's going to serve its purpose, exactly like you said, and it's not going to be around forever. Just like Q's not going to be around forever. All of this stuff. It's all serving its purpose right now. Totes.
So we did good tonight, you guys. An hour and a half. How long are your shows usually?
Between an hour, 2 hours. It just depends.
Well, our normal shows are normally hour and 15 to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But this is only the third live.
Yeah,
third live.
Going live is kind of something that just popped up during this whole election.
This is a new thing for us, this whole live thing.
Did you guys know? I think it's so cool. So this is episode number 89 and my birthday is 1989.
Oh, synchronicity. Nice.
I thought that was cool because this was pretty like spur of the moment and I wasn't gonna, I've been actually, supposed to do a couple shows this week, and I'm like, I have no energy. I'm in transitional phases right now, stuff like that. But I was like, let's just do it. Like, this is a good time. I wanted to talk about this with you guys, though.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you
for doing it.
People were asking earlier on, do you have a YouTube channel? Do you have anything? Do you want to plug anything while you're here?
I do. I mean, I'm really excited. I love my job, you guys. I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful. I've been reading as an amateur since I was young. These cards have been just part of my world for so long. And then I decided I love this. This is all I want to do. And then I started doing it professionally. And so that's what I do. And I do it every single day. If you guys want to book a session with me, you can go to my website, it's jennymoonstone.com. And I have availability pretty much after the last week of November. So December, wide open. It's going to be a great time. Readings make really good gifts. And then there's my YouTube channel that I'm not really all that active on, to be honest with you, but it's Jenny Constantine, but I do want to plug my other friends' channels. So you're going to see me a lot on Beyond Mystic. My friend Jean-Claude, you guys know Jean-Claude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Yeah, and I work with him a lot over there on Beyond Mystic. Fabulous channel, excellent guests all the time. JC is just a really great guy. And then I also do work with Bix Weir, and his channel is Road to Fruta. And so he's just a gem, and he is this financial guy / like comic book creator. I mean, like, he's just next level. This guy is the most amazing creative spirit that you've ever seen. And his channel is just fabulous. And I do work with him as well. So yeah, I'm really happy to jump on here with you guys, and there's so much going on in our community, and you two have really proven yourselves to be some of the finest and some of the most, upstanding, with the most integrity in the face of some pretty, lowbrow shit going on in our community. You guys really stood up and stood out, and I want to acknowledge you for that. And I think it's a great look for you guys. You won't regret doing the right thing.
Thank you. It means a lot. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It gets pretty tough behind the scenes sometimes.
Yeah.
But we're here, and we're not going to stop. And thank you for that. That means a lot.
Yeah, seriously, that means a lot. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
Your Instagram, your Space Witch on Instagram.
Yes. Yeah, my Instagram. My Instagram is SpaceWitch45, and
hopefully it's still up when we're done with this.
Yeah,
we got Instagram.
We got deleted from Instagram, or deactivated.
Tell them. Well, no, I think it's super interesting that you guys you were tagging me for the promotion of the show.
Yep, I was making the post, and as I was tagging Jenny, a notification popped up, said your account has been disabled in the middle of me making the post. So whatever, they got us off Facebook, they got us off Instagram. We have a new Facebook page, but it's just barely anybody sees that. But we are on Twitter still, and we're still going to do this while we can. We have a BitChute account. We're on Brighteon. We're on all the audio platforms.
We should make a parlor too. We haven't done that yet.
I mean, we have backup.
We'll have a parlor soon.
We have backup channels ready, and thank you guys for the donations. It means everything. We do have t-shirts for sale, and what else? We have the Omnia patch. We always promote that. We're affiliated with them, and it's an amazing product, especially for this 5G stuff. If it does get weaponized, it's fantastic. The new studies coming out, we're getting ready to have Tim back on. Apparently, this stuff is being proven to not only harmonize the frequency, but it's turning it into something beneficial, and people are actually it's healing people, and it's crazy. So
love it.
We're gonna dive into that, and next week we will not be live because we will be having a controversial character.
You wanted to say?
We'll be speaking with Charlie Ward, and due to the time zone, the time difference, we'll be pre-recording that one. So
Excellent. Oh my God, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
By the way, the show you just did with David Rodriguez, I was like
Yeah.
on the edge of my seat. So
Oh, yeah.
I apologize for fangirling so hard, but I just love that guy.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so alpha, and it's hard not to get excited. So I apologize. I acted up a little bit in the chat, and I realized, like, calm down, Jenny.
I saw
calm
you
down.
in the chat.
People can see you, right? Like, but what can I say? I'm a hunter, and he's sexy. So
Yeah.
He is sexy. I
We're
agree.
gonna end it on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We'll end it there. That's a great.
Thank you so
okay,
much.
cool.
Yeah. We'll end it on David Rodriguez is sexy.
Yeah. Thank you so much. This has been awesome.
All right, you guys.
All right. Thank you so
Where we
much.
go one, we go all.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in. All right.
right.
We'll be talking soon.